Welcome back, everyone, to another special edition of the Indie Reads Aloud podcast. Today, we're going to be having just a few minutes conversation with Kristoffer Gair, who's going to be teaching one of the workshops at our Story Scribblers writing retreat this August. It's the 24th through the 27th. Kristoffer is going to be teaching a workshop titled Exploring Comedy in Fiction. Welcome, Kristoffer. Thank you for being here. And thanks again for teaching this summer.
Andrew would say, whoop, whoop, whoop.
Yeah. I'm so excited because every time I get you to talk about the combination of humor and writing, it's always a good time.
It's fun. It's a fun subject. I mean, there's so much you can do with it. And I mean, I look for trouble. I admit I look for trouble, whether it's writing it or even in the last, when we did the whole month of February.
Yeah.
I was not
You were looking for a lot of trouble then.
I was, but I mean, I wasn't a part of like the first 2 weeks of it per se.
Right.
So I thought I'm going to have some fun with it, which is why I started hanging up these signs and really messing with Deb Reed, which was so much fun.
It was terrific. She had a good time too. We all did.
And it got to the point where people were looking for the signs. So I'm like, that was the beauty of humor in something like that.
Yeah. And that you found the moment and then capitalized on the moment all month long. And we can do that in our writing. And I think that's a little bit of what you're going to share with us this summer, right?
Yeah, no, I edit for a couple of different folks too. I've got one of my main editors, the first person I go to, she has started coming to me, which is really kind of cool because I don't think I'm a great editor, but she likes what I do.
Yeah.
And she will plant little seeds in her stories, in her books. And I'm always like, where's the follow-up? You planted the seed. What did you do with it?
Yeah.
And she had mentioned in this particular book, it was a story about a retired school teacher, kind of in the twilight of her life, without going into too much plot details, but she's essentially facing down sort of this evil sorcerer in an alternate type of land.
Right.
And she got to the point at the end of it, and I'm like, okay, you want that humorous line during the showdown. And she had made a point to say that this woman was an Alice Cooper fan. So as she's facing down the guy, I'm like, okay, I can do this. I can do this. I get it right. And she goes to speak, and the guy's like, how are you able to do that? How are you even raising a sword to me? And I'm thinking, okay, school teachers, because she's going to say something. So she finally looks up at the guy and she says, school's out for summer.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Nice.
You can just get behind a line like that, and you laugh and you think, that's cute. And it kind of worked because that seed was planted very early. A lot of that in writing is planting those seeds early on so that you can get the follow through the rest of the way.
Right.
I don't know.
And also that being able to touchstone to pieces of life that people are readily have ready access to, like the Alice Cooper songs.
Sure.
Like playing off of, we were just talking before we came on about the new Picard program and how they touch on just little lines here and there, and that draws people into something that they can go, oh yeah, I can relate to that. Yeah. And then they giggle along.
Yeah. I don't know how other people write comedy. I know how I do it. So I will be talking about how I do it. I mean, I looked at books. The first comedy I wrote under my old pseudonym was called The Funny Thing Happened on the Way to My Sexual Orientation. Comedy in the title right there, but
right.
I was reading through it, and there's almost an homage to Chevy Chase and how Chevy Chase will deliver these lines in complete sincerity, not realizing he's completely screwed it up, and then he realizes it, so he just keeps going and making it worse.
Yeah.
Or Ellen DeGeneres. I did a little bit of Ellen in the first Scalius book, where Ellen can talk about something, and then she goes into such detail about it. It gets more and more ridiculous the more she goes on, and it gets funnier as it goes on. So you can learn from these folks.
I think Robin Williams used to do that too. He would just start with a little kernel of something, and then it would just evolve into something he didn't even plan on.
Did you ever see the YouTube clip of him with Carol Burnett?
I did not.
It's a funeral, and they do show it twice. The first one is as written. And then he has gone to her afterwards and said, I want to redo this. And she looks at the audience, she says, I don't know what he's going to do. But then he goes in and he starts just kind of throwing these lines out, and it is hysterical. Yeah. It's wonderful. And I love, that's for me is writing. it's especially dialogue. You got a lot of humor through dialogue. If you've ever watched a film or seen something play out in front of you and you're like, God, I wish they would have said that. That would have been so much better, would have been so much funnier.
Mhm.
Save it, write it down somewhere, put it in a story.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I think that this is going to be a really fun workshop. I think a lot of people are going to get a lot out of it. Also, I think it's going to be important for people who write straight stuff too, because there has to be that comedic relief once in a while, even in a really strong drama. I think once in a while you have to drop some of that comedy in just to alleviate the tension a little bit.
Peaks and valleys, absolutely.
Yeah. So I'm really excited about having you come teach with us. This retreat is going to be so much fun. It's 4 days, 3 nights, August 27th through the 24th through the 27th. Workshops, writing time, critique, meals and lodging, more campfire stories and s'mores than you can shake a campfire stick at. And on top of all that, a book festival and lunch with your favorite authors. So if you guys out there in writing world want to really focus on your craft, this would be an awesome time to do it. Kristoffer, I'm so grateful you're coming to teach with us. Thank you so much.
You did forget one thing.
What?
The tip jar, and we love free gifts.
Yes, we do. We do love free gifts. Thank you so much. Have an awesome evening.
You too, and I'll see you soon.
Okay.